Hey, lifers, happy new year and welcome to an episode or another episode in another year. And we're so grateful of Because Life Can Be a Niche podcast. Thank you for joining us and riding with us. Thank you for coming in the living room and talking about life, because that's what we do. We talk about life, everything that happens in life, because life can be a niche. And we know that to be true. And so, but we are so grateful to see 2021 and to be walking into a new season and walking on a new path and a new journey. I'm so grateful to have a special guest, a mompreneur in the house with me. And I'm just happy, excited to get started. So I'm going to be real quick because you know how we do. If you're listening to us wherever you get your podcast, thank you so much for listening. Please take an opportunity to watch us on the YouTube channel because, hey, we need some subscribers over there. I mean, like really, really need some subscribers. So go on over there and hit the subscribe button. It's free. It's just a quick click and you can see what we're talking about, and rather than just listen to it. And for those of you who are watching us on the YouTube channel, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, do that. If you haven't shared, do that too. And make sure that you tell everybody about us. If there are topics that you want to talk about, now's the place, now's the time. Drop in the comments and let us know what you want to talk about. And we'd love to hear from you. As always, you guys know I'm a tea lover. I love coffee too, but tea is my thing. And always we have a tea of the episode. We usually do. And I'm excited because I got a new tea in the house. This is not a teacup. This is my cup. This is Because Life Can Be a Niche cup. And my tea is, it smells so good, y'all. It's called the wedding tea. Mm-hmm. And it is so fabulous. It is roses and vanilla, and it is just, it's a white tea. But if you can see that, and I told you guys I love my loose leaf teas. I can't wait to try this. I'm going to try it tonight. I'm not going to drink it now. I usually do, but since I've got my guest, I'm going to make sure that she has her teacup too. We'll talk about what she's sipping on too. But then anyway, it's called a wedding, a tea for marriage. Y'all heard that, didn't you? I'm a divorced mom of boys, but hey, if I can just, maybe I need to be sipping on this tea. Maybe I won't be divorced for long, y'all. Look at this. A tea for marriage. I didn't even know they made that. I didn't even know there was a wedding tea, but I got one now. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on started with the show. Welcome to you, my mompreneur, my longtime girlfriend of forever. Can't wait for you guys to meet her and to talk to her. Jae Johnson, Jae Johnson Realtor Group. We are just so grateful to have you in the house, in the living room today to talk to us. We have been talking about new, and this is a perfect time to have you on the show, because there's some newness that you're walking into that I think you were really the words of wisdom that you can share about being a mompreneur and what that means, and also what it means for those of us who are still out here in this corporate career world to have multiple streams of income. So welcome. I know you got your cup. Hold up your cup. Let me see what you're sipping on.
I have my cup.
All right. We got us some tea. Look, I could have poured my tea up. In fact, we could have been sipping together, but I'm gonna be professional. I'm gonna try not to drink my tea on the show. I'm gonna wait because I really want to savor this tea, because when they said, a tea for marriage, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pass this around to some of my friends. Maybe all we needed was the tea, y'all.
Maybe the tea is the answer to marriage.
There might be in the tea. We're gonna find out. But in the meantime, in between time, I wanted to talk to you because I've always been a proponent of the STEAM education and STEM or STEAM, whatever you may have in your school. And that is something that you pursued before it really became popular for women to be into the tech industry and the IT industry, but also a woman of color as well. And so tell us a little bit about your real daytime gig, and then we'll talk about what transpired to move you and to transition you into multiple streams of income?
Okay. Well, I went to Georgia Southern, and I was a information systems major. And coming out of high school, in our small high school, everybody was telling us that computer science, computers was, the way to go as far as making money and everything. So I did that. I went to Georgia Southern as a computer science major, found out that that wasn't quite the technical parts of computers that I wanted to go down path. So I went to the programming side. So with that, I was an analyst for 15 years, a data analyst. So anything about data, I was able to go in and massage, figure out, run statistics. And now I'm on the product side of computers, product side of the software for our clients. So, that's kind of how I got started in computer science, or even STEM. Back then it wasn't STEM or STEAM. So that's basically how I got started with that genre of a career.
What and because we went to the same high school, so yes, we're from a small town, definitely. And you said that computer science really wasn't it. What was it that you noticed in terms of what was it that made you change over?
Initially, it was more so the technical part, the computer science, that technical part was C++, the C++ class. And I just could not figure out that coding. I understood the general overall concept of C++, but then deep diving into it, I was like, I really don't like this. And I was in my sophomore year of college, and I called my mom crying. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So we prayed, because I'm from a praying background, and my mother is too. So she made me pray. We prayed on the phone, and I changed my major to business with information systems. And when I got over there, it just felt like home. I understood Java. I understood COBOL. I was thriving in those classes. But I just, I know a lot of people go to computer science and it's just an automatic click for them. It just wasn't for me. And I did 2 classes of C++, and that last class, I was like, I'm going to take this D for done. And I'm going to this business class, this business department. And it just didn't make sense to get a degree that I knew that I didn't want to pursue a career in. Right. So, that's how I switched from computer science to information systems. And it just is still technical. Yeah, it's still technical, because as an analyst, I did programming for 15 years, having to go in and analyze data, different pieces of data everywhere. So yeah, it's still technical. Some parts of computer networking, computer science involves, taking apart computers. And I think I know some of my friends think they can just call me to troubleshoot their computer. I'm like, I'm not computer desktop support. No, right. I call this computer desktop support. So I'm like, if you want me to load in some data and figure out some data, I got you. I cannot tell you how to hook up your computer. I cannot tell you anything, nothing.
And everybody does that. Because I work for a company. It's a well-known computer company. And I don't know why people assume just because you work there, like I'm in communications, I don't have anything to do with any reason why your computer is going wrong.
Yeah, I pick up the phone just like you, and I call the tech support number just like you.
I'm like, hey, they got people who help me, but there are people
for that.
Work for an IT company. They automatically assume like, hey, you work in computers? No, not
quite.
Exactly.
No, I can give you the number to support.
Exactly. That is exactly right. So now, what do you say to young women, especially young, because you have a daughter? So what do you say to Black girls who are considering, like you're teetering on majoring? So if your path is college, what do you say to them? What's your piece of advice about the tech industry or the STEM industry?
Definitely find a mentor. One thing that I mentioned to my husband and a few of my girlfriends is that, in addition to having a daughter, I have two sons, um, is the idea of nurturing their interests. You know, you know, right now, one of my oldest is into, I think, more of the technical STEAM part.
Mhm.
So, I've, I won't say it's a curriculum, but I've come up with ideas on how to nurture those things. So if somebody's interested in STEAM or STEM, definitely understand what they're interested in. Like I said, I could have saved myself a year of school and, had I recognized or understood that there were different paths to STEAM, computer science, being majoring in computers, definitely understanding what you want to do or figuring out what you want to do with that, far enough in advance before you get down a path of, like, you're like, I really don't like this. So,
Right.
Definitely trying to get involved with different organizations that perhaps may have mentors that, you can talk with, having people come, do Zooms. Of course, in this COVID world, Zooms are the most popular way to have a platform to talk with, professionals in the industry that you're looking into. So definitely I would tell anybody that's considering, a career in STEAM or STEM, to, just to do your research. It's a lot of information out here. And, I know everybody tells people that computer science is, a lot of money, and it can be, but, I guess I'm at the age where a lot of money versus peace of mind,
Right.
and just being at peace and loving a passion for what you do is it's different right now.
Right. Exactly. And you said something so important about a mentor and
Mm-hmm.
having that. I think that's something that even in my career and friends I've seen that it's really the key, in addition to working hard and knowing
Yeah.
and going in knowing your stuff and
Mm-hmm.
networking. Then once you get there, once you've gotten the job and you're there, you really need a mentor to help to really take you to where you need to go. You'll go faster. You can get there on your own, but you definitely go faster with a mentor in place. So that's important. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about multiple streams of income and where the mompreneur came in, because this is really where I've seen you just really grow and blossom from just a little bit here and there to now you're hitting it, like really going gangbusters on your additional stream of income. So tell me what made you say, you know what, I've got a great career. I enjoy what I do, but let me have something else going on too.
Well, they came about, well, let me back up. So I've always wanted to be involved in real estate. Every time I would, go to different intro meetings or whatever, something always came up. I think the first time I found out I was pregnant with DJ, and then
Mhm.
I, got to the point where I'm like, okay, let's try this again. Then I found out I was pregnant with Bryce. Then at that point, I was just like, you know what, forget it. So, um, it was just, I recognized that early on in this world, in order to have the type of success, wealth that I would like for my family, that it wasn't just going to come with a regular 9 to 5. And quite honestly, with the 9 to 5, in the industry, in the industry that I work with, it's more than 9 to 5 sometimes. And I couldn't depend on somebody else to sustain my family, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, I just, I've seen layoffs with the company I work with. I've seen, just different scenarios where, you giving your all, and then, you giving your all 40, years and years. And then that one time you make a mistake and then they're like, ready to, cut ties from you. So I was, it was just more so I finally was like, okay, I'm definitely not having any more kids after the little girl came. So let's try this again. and and my realtor at the time, we were selling our house, and I guess I was just asking so many questions, and I was just doing this and suggesting this and that. She was like, why don't you just become a realtor? I don't know if it was more of me getting on her nerves or she saw something in me. Like, if she saw something in me that was like, why don't you have a passion for this? And I remember one time when we were out looking, it wasn't a house we wanted to purchase, but we sat at their house for several minutes, like at least 20 minutes, just talking about me becoming a realtor. And she was just encouraging me to just do it. Mm-hmm. So after we purchased our house that summer, I just did it. I looked up some online courses. I prayed about it. During the summertime, my job, my not regular 9-to-5 job, isn't as busy. So I prayed that, I would have time during the day to study. So I would get up early in the morning, which is not an easy task for me. But I would get up early in the morning. I would do my online courses. I would study. Everywhere I went, I had my note cards, whether I was at a dance practice or taking the boys somewhere. I always had my note cards. I was always studying, and I just did it. And then August 16th, I passed my test of 2018.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's been a minute. 2018.
Yeah. It's been a little bit over 2 years.
From that moment, walk us through when you passed the test to how you started and where you are today.
Okay. So I passed the test, and one thing that they don't tell you about becoming a realtor is that the test is basically the laws, the Georgia laws and, real estate laws. So it doesn't really teach you how to be a realtor. So it's important to find a broker who's going to have the training and mentorship, needed to become an effective realtor. And then with having a 9-to-5, for me, it was difficult initially with my first broker for me to get what I needed as far as training, because a lot of their training courses, of course, this was pre-COVID. So a lot of their training was during the day, and I just couldn't, initially I was trying to take off, a half a day here and there, and it just wasn't working. So, eventually I had to switch brokers. But just a step back, so my first transaction was with a relative. And we went through, I think I went through a lot of emotions or a lot of different transactions within that transaction. And it was kind of like a stumbling block or a stumbling type experience, not a block. And then I didn't have my first closing until that following April. And it came from one of my son's teachers who reached out to me. And, I don't know if it was just like my mindset of not fully understanding the process of becoming a realtor. I just assumed that, things would just start happening over time. But it wasn't, happening as immediately as I thought it would be. And what I ended up doing actually this past summer was just, I had to have surgery. So during that time, I took out time to, as I was sitting there was nothing really else to do. So I watched TV and, sit there. So during that time, I really focused on my marketing strategy and my lead generation. And since that time, I have closed 5 deals. So it's just, it's been a learning process. And I switched brokers to something that was worked better with my schedule, more of a virtual set up. Of course, everything is virtual now with COVID. But this particular brokerage, has everything is online. So all training is online. I can reach out to corporate online, virtually and everything. So it's, just basically finding what worked for my setup, my lifestyle right now. And then, using that and reaching out and watching YouTube videos on how to, market via social media, how to market. Because I mean, honestly, with a 9 to 5, I can't really be out meeting people in the streets and stuff. Of course, now with COVID, nobody really want to talk to you in these streets, in these COVID streets. So it's, just trying to meet people where they are, looking for people who are, actively looking to purchase a home, and then, reaching out to them. So that's basically what has been going on since 2018. Like I said, I had a few kind of experiences as, I learned as we went along, but I feel more confident now. When I do talk to a potential client, I feel more confident in my ability to be an effective realtor.
That makes perfect sense. Now, can you elaborate on what you learned when you had those stumbling blocks or those experiences? Is it because the first one was with family, and sometimes that's close for comfort when it's family, or?
Yeah, with family, it is, because you have to take out the emotional part. It was my first transaction was with a close family member, and, you have to figure out, not be that big sister, big cousin situation. You're the realtor. And that had to do with it. And then I really feel like it was more so of me not really knowing what I was doing at the time. Okay. And, and he was patient. We both were patient with each other. But, to be honest, I learned a lot from that transaction, because, I learned how to present an offer, and I learned how to do this and that. And, also during that time, I remember my first time putting in an offer. I'm getting ready to put in an offer. I did have a mentor with the broker. I was with my initial broker I was with, but I won't say they weren't accessible, but I had a lot going on. My father-in-law had passed. It was, I was trying to put an offer in and get my family ready to go to Mississippi. It was just a lot going on during that time period. So, learning how to be an effective realtor when life is happening, I had to learn how to deal with that, because, I mean, life is going to happen for you, your client, and life happens with you. I've had moments where I've had to have, one of my kids with me to show a house. My daughter, she thinks she's my assistant and thinks she should get paid. So, it's just, learning that it's okay. You can still be professional and still be mom, still be an entrepreneur, still have to do life. And, one thing I do tell my clients up front, whether they're family or not, is you may see one of my kids with me one day. Right. That's just the reality of, life. It's better now with COVID because my mom is here. But, anytime before then, if they were in school, and if I got a call saying I needed to pick them up because they were sick, or, or somebody was at a practice and somebody called and said wanted to look, one of my clients called and said they wanted to look at a house, we all coming together.
Right. That's, talk about that. I mean, because, you are unapologetically a mompreneur. And that is upfront. Have you received any pushback, or has anybody been like, oh, your kid, has anyone been put off by that? Or people pretty understanding of that now because of the world we are living in? What have you seen?
All of my clients are understanding. I don't think I've had any client that didn't have kids. And like I say, I tell them up front,
Mm-hmm.
my kids may, during our consultation, I always give a free consultation, and
Uh-huh.
you may see my kids. And I've had Zooms where one or two, or if not all three, will pop in on the Zoom, and I just introduce them to my clients because they're going to see them.
Right.
And, one of the things about being a realtor is one of the things that to pique my interest was the flexibility. And like you mentioned, I'm unapologetically a mom first and foremost. And I want a career where I can feel like I can be mommy first, and then I can do my career, and I can still make their dance recitals. I can still make their baseball games, their soccer games. Um, I can still be there, and then also, do my passion of helping people find their homes.
Mhm.
So, nobody's giving pushback. If anything, I've had a couple of clients trying to give my kids gifts at their closing. I'm like, they can't do anything. Like, I'm your realtor, not them. They're not my
They're like, hey, it's a family business. They need
right.
your assistance.
Because my
Oh,
daughter,
that is too cute.
yeah, my
That
daughter
is
will pull up with me and say, "Am I gonna get paid for this?" Like, you were getting a ride home.
right.
You're not even supposed to.
Exactly. You might get a stop at your favorite fast food place
And that's what I
going
told
back.
her. We can swing through Chick-fil-A, but no.
That's it. So what do you that's important though. Do your children, because they see you building a business
Mhm.
in addition to everything else, what is that? Have you noticed that it's affected them, or has it piqued something in them that maybe you didn't see before?
I have noticed, it has, because I would say maybe a year ago, my middle child was selling my house to my daughter. He was walking through the house, pointing out different things, like he was the realtor. And I was like, "Are you selling the house with us in it?" So, the fact that they see me, and I tell them all the time, you are going to work in this business. You don't necessarily, this does not have to be your career, but you're going to learn real estate,
Hmm.
period.
Hmm.
And I would love for them all to get their license, especially before they go off to college, because that could be a source of income for them.
Right.
Um, and I love the fact that, like, I tell everybody, my daughter is a boss, just because of her attitude, her just whole demeanor, her whole personality. I don't even see her working for anybody else and making it, because she is so bossy. But and I can tell she is about business. I can tell that, I watch them all, and I can tell that they watch me, and they see, they understand when I grab my laptop or whatever, I'm getting ready to go show a house, and they'll my oldest, he'll, grab my laptop bag and put it in the car for me. And, they just make sure I have everything I need.
Hmm.
And, I really see that they understand the importance of, at least I hope they understand the importance of multiple streams. I know they don't
Right.
quite grasp it right now,
Right.
but
Exactly.
yeah, I see that coming forth with them. And like I say, I want them to have an idea of how real estate works, how important it is for multiple streams, how important it is for, real estate investing,
Right.
for them.
Right. Exactly. Now, in terms of that and the balance, because you mentioned that it gives you a lot of flexibility, how is it having a full-time job in the tech industry, which can be demanding, and then having this multiple stream of income, which also may require your evenings once you get off of the 9 to 5 or 8 to 6 or whatever it is. How do you balance that?
Um, it is a balancing act. Um, of course, I do my 9 to 5. I've had to learn, as much as I hate getting up early, I have had to learn I just have to bite the bullet, get up, do some of my real estate stuff in the morning. as much as I can, do my posts and, different things. If I'm writing an offer or following up with an agent for a client or whatever, I do that in the morning. As far as lead generation, I try to do that in the evening because most of my clients, so most people are working 9 to 5. So they don't really appreciate your calling during their work day. So I do that. As far as showing houses, because it's, wintertime, a lot of my clients we don't really look at houses, past dark. A lot of sellers, especially if they're still living in the home, they don't really want you to kind of interrupt their dinner time, their evening time, wind down time. But Saturdays and Sundays, fair game as far as going out to show a house. Usually I don't show. My daughter has dance at 11 o'clock every Saturday, like clockwork. So I usually drop her off and go show some houses. And if I see I'm not going to be back in time to pick her up, reach out to my husband. We try to tag team so that he'll be able to scoop her up. And I have some girlfriends in the area who, if I can't get back, they'll be able to pick her up. So it's definitely good to have that support system in place. It's just necessary to have that support system in place so that, if you can't make it to pick up somebody from a soccer practice or dance practice or baseball practice, because we have 3 kids, we're already outnumbered, and you throw in, another career, you just have to have that support system to kind of help us out. And, in addition to that, I did a vacation recently, and I had to come to the conclusion that I have to outsource certain things in my life to make things work better. And that includes cleaning service. I had stopped my cleaning service for a minute because with COVID, you didn't want people in your house. And then my whole thing was, I'm like, why am I having a cleaning service come? And these 3 kids are in here and they're going to have it dirty in 20 minutes after they leave.
Right.
So, but it's just necessary to have that deep cleaning. So I'm going to pick that back up. And thank God my mother is here to help with digital learning, and she cooks. So she's our chef / classroom facilitator.
Right.
Yeah, we are so thankful for her.
Our retired mama.
Yes. She's a retired educator, and just, I don't know what we would do without her. So, just figuring out those things that I can outsource to other people, to other services. And I don't have to recognize I don't have to do everything. And because I can't do everything. And, still be an effective wife and mother is just not going to happen, and our family time is our family time. So, if we say we're going to my kids like watching movies. So usually if I'm done showing houses, they want to watch a movie. We're watching movies, popping popcorn, and I'm sitting there watching Scooby-Doo for the 50th time or whatever it is, because that's that time. So you just have to figure out balances and compromises. And, my kids at least they haven't expressed to me that they're, upset about me not being wherever, on a Saturday because I had to show houses. I'm like, you like eating? You like electricity?
Yeah. You like these creature comforts. Right.
So mommy has to go do that. And and my kids like going on vacations. So
so once you explain how these things happen, they're cool with mommy going to show a house.
Next thing they want to know is, when are we going to the cabin? When are we going to the beach? And before COVID, I was trying to get everybody their passports. Of course, my husband and I have ours, but, working on getting everybody their passports so that we can enjoy the fruits of our labor for them.
Right. That's right. Exactly. So now tell me about what you did in terms of the marketing, because you said you had surgery this summer and that gave you time to think and to really get your strategy in place. So that is for you to be new to the business or fairly new into the business, to be recuperating. And during a pandemic, you've closed 5 deals.
Yeah.
And you have a full-time job and 3 children and your mama and your husband.
And my husband.
So tell me about that, because that alone, first of all, in a pandemic, it's a blessing.
It is.
But what was your aha, like, this is what I need to be doing for my marketing strategy? I mean, how did you come up with it? What changed? What was a game changer?
So I started looking at a lot of YouTube videos of realtors and just, lead generation. And before then, before COVID, I would try to go to like these different, not garage sales, but how people have like little community type things, and you go be a vendor and stuff. Then I did wedding expos as well. And what I found was that even though you were there weren't a lot of people necessarily looking to purchase a house at that time. So my aha moment came when I was like, I need to figure out how to reach people who are actively thinking about and looking to purchase a home soon. So like I said, I did a lot of YouTube videos. And then I just started doing Facebook campaigns. And I target people who are not just, everybody likes looking at a pretty house. But, I start asking questions. So the more you get people to engage in those questions and answering questions, and then if they give you their email address and their phone numbers, that to me shows me you're serious. You're not, because that means you're okay with me calling you to ask you about this, because, you've taken the time out to share your information with me. Hopefully you're not just sharing your information just because, most people don't share their contact information because they, spammed and whatever. So once I got that going, and I just, I started calling these people on a regular basis. And from there, I had a good list of people who were, thinking about purchasing, ready to purchase, just needed some help as far as lenders. I work with a few lenders who have down payment assistance programs, first time buyers programs, etc. So as I talk to these people and I try to meet them where they are, because everybody doesn't have, their 5% down payment just in the, in their accounts or, whatever. Some people they need to understand the process. And that's the other thing. I tried to fine tune my consultation. And when I do my consultation, especially if you're a buyer, is I walk through the whole process, and I'm asking questions, you're asking questions, and we are really deep diving into each process, each step of the home buying process. It's not just, we're going to go look for houses and then we're going to close. No, we're going to be on this Zoom, and, and even after the Zoom, because you're going to forget everything until you're in the moment. And, as we're in the moment of the home inspection now, I'm going to remind you that, this person is this, and they're going to do this, and this, and we're going to do this, and this after you get a report. It's just those things that, I try to make sure that my clients are very knowledgeable about the process. So that was my aha moment, trying to find that client who was ready and serious and not just, looking at houses. Because I was that person for years. I would drive through a new community. Oh, that's pretty. And I just show up.
Yeah.
I had no plan to buy a house when they had just bought a townhouse. Just out looking.
Right. Exactly. Before COVID, that's what I used to. That would be my weekend entertainment.
Exactly. That's what you did.
I know the housing subdivision across the street. I know I've been in about 30 of those houses. I'm like, they moving. I feel like I moved. I'm like, oh, they bought a house.
Yeah. See.
But just looking,
right. A lot of people, hey, people are just looking and they're looking for ideas, or if they already have a house, they may be thinking about renovating. And I get it. But yeah, just trying to find those people who are serious and ready to go right then.
How do you, is that a secret? Is that secret sauce, or can you share how do you find, what is the formula for knowing when somebody's serious? If they just say, hey, here's my
Conversation.
information. Okay.
Yep. Follow up is the
Okay.
secret sauce. You have to follow up with these people, whether or not, whether it's a phone conversation or email or text, be able to touch those people just to see where they are. And again, even with those people, some of them aren't there yet. They're, some of them are still kind of looking, browsing. How many times have you gone in a store, really don't feel like being bothered with the salesperson, so you just tell them, yeah, I'm just browsing, even though in your mind you have an idea what you want to sell. So it's just those follow up and talking to them, asking those questions, and you can tell fairly quickly if they're serious. And then I've had some, it was just some guys, and then once they find out I was happily married, they weren't so serious.
Okay.
They weren't interested in purchasing anymore. So yeah,
I'm sure that is out there too. What do you think about in terms of finding that serious client and getting them to that point? But people see real estate, they think it's just this glamorous thing where you get dressed up and you go in these fabulous neighborhoods and these wonderful houses, and it's just, and then boom, sold, all they see is the sold signs. So it looks very glamorous.
It does. HGTV makes it look great.
It really does. But what's the real deal?
It's not. No. At any given point, first of all, I'm not dressed up to go show houses.
Okay.
Especially what I've learned is if there is a dad, husband, boyfriend involved, don't dress up just because of the fact that they're going to want to see every basement, every crawl space. They're going to see the attic. So, you don't want to mess up your good shoes.
Gotcha.
Showing daddy everything. Okay. So, I have my boots or my tennis shoes. I don't look like a homeless person, but, some jeans, a nice t-shirt, my real estate t-shirt on is, first of all, that's one thing. And second, there are a lot of steps between going to look at a house and closing. And in this market, because it's a seller's market right now, just putting in an offer can be an exhausting task because, you're putting in an offer and there might be 10 other offers being put in as well, being submitted. And, you're working with your client to put in their highest and best and getting your client to understand, you can't really lowball because you may not have the opportunity to come back with a higher offer. So you need to put your highest and best in today, right now. Don't listen to your uncle that said back when, 10 years ago, he offered 5,000 less. That's not how it's working right now. In these 2021, 2020 streets, it's not how that's working. So, and then, you have the whole, if you're blessed to get your offer accepted, then you have to go through the whole inspection process. And, as a seller's market, a lot of sellers aren't being as accommodating with the repairs as they used to be. So, there's just so many steps along the way. And then you have to work with the lender. And if it's not one of your lenders that you have a relationship with, of course, you need to, develop a relationship with that lender because you want to be working close together, as well as you developing a relationship with that seller's agent, because you're going to be working close together until that house is sold and you get to closing. There's just so many steps in between, making sure your client submits all of their paperwork to the lender in a timely fashion, so that you can get the loan approved. Those things. So it's a lot of hand holding that they don't show on TV.
Right.
like I say, I get up early and I'm in my office early and I'm doing my text to my clients, my current clients who are under contract. Hey, did you do this? Did you submit that? Don't forget to do this today. Don't forget to, reach out to the inspector, to hire your inspector, whatever.
Right. Exactly. Because we all start off with the best intentions.
Right.
When we get emails and text messages. And then, because I get them, did you review this document? And then the next day,
I forget.
So,
I had meant to.
Yeah. So you got to keep on. So that is a lot of hand holding, a lot of work. So you're working not for free, but basically until the deal is closed, you're working for free.
Basically. Yeah.
So people don't understand. Sometimes people don't get that. Like there's no stipend. There's no money coming in. You can have a contract.
Yeah. And if that transaction falls through before closing, you don't get paid.
All that time and money.
Yeah. And I learned that really early on as well. The hard way. Do not count your coins until you have your check in your hand.
Okay. Yes. What are some ways that it can actually fall through? Because I'm assuming a lot of people, if they're serious, they've already been pre-approved, most of them. What can happen along the way that can cause a deal not to work out?
Some things can happen. One, if the buyer doesn't have the funds to close for whatever reason. I've had a buyer who was expecting a gift that didn't work, that didn't fall through, that fell through, and they could not close. They didn't have the funds to close. I've heard stories where they got to closing and find out that the buyer quit their job yesterday. What people don't understand is the lender is going to verify your income several times. And one of those times will be right before, either the day before closing or the day of closing, as well as the credit report. I've heard stories where the buyer went out and opened up a Rooms to Go or whatever furniture store and had a great time furnishing the house that they had not purchased just yet. And their credit tanked.
Oh no.
And I've heard stories where the buyer went and bought a new car.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, things that you are told not to do. I was told don't do anything.
That is part of my buyer's consultation. I have a list that says do not open new credit. Do not close any credit. Do not buy anything involving your credit. Do not quit your job. And if you have a second job and that's part of your verification of income, do not quit that one either. So, and it kind of goes back to, and I have my client sign that saying that we went over that. Because what you're not going to do is say Jay did not tell me not to go open up a new credit card. Jay did tell you, and you signed it because Jay told you to sign it on this date.
Exactly. Yeah. And what is the average time frame from when you show a home or when you have consultation to closing? How long of a time span on average are you talking about?
That varies as well. It can be from in this market, because it's a seller's market, and it's not just, okay, we're going to go look at houses this weekend and we're going to find a house and we're going to be on the contract by Monday. That's not where we are. I've had clients, we have been looking since September and we're still looking.
Oh my.
I have had clients who we actually did go out one Saturday and they did find a house. It was a new construction and they're closing here shortly. So that may have been a little bit over 40, definitely over 30 days. And then with the way a lot of people are still purchasing, so lenders are kind of behind So it's been taking, about 45 days for approval for loans and final approval and everything. So it definitely varies. And, the price point makes a difference. If a lot of people are in that price point of the price range of home you can afford, you have a lot of people making offers, and you just have to look out. Or, like I say, I have one or two clients we've been looking for a couple of months, and
Yeah. So it does. It takes time and patience, and it
Mhm.
helps to have several going at the same time, which is also a lot of time
Yes.
because that's a lot of paperwork happening in the background.
Hmm.
In addition, now what about safety? How I know now that it's still in a pandemic, so you may not be out showing as much, but in terms of when you do go out showing, what's your advice, or what were you taught about being as safe as you possibly could be? Because some people you are meeting not everyone who's your client is someone you've known.
Right.
So
Well, one, I definitely make sure I have a face to face. Right now is Zoom.
mhm,
Definitely see them, and um, thus far, a lot of, I won't say all of my clients have been somebody I've known, but maybe doing a screenshot and then sharing that with my husband to let him know where I am. There have been a couple of instances where I've had to show, houses in the evenings because of a client's schedule. He will roll with me. Um, and there is always a weapon in my purse.
okay. Okay. Very
So
good.
at the end
Okay.
of the day, I'm going to get home to my three babies.
Okay.
Now, if that person decides they don't want to go home, that's fine. But my goal is always to get home.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Gotcha.
there is a weapon in my purse.
And that is something that realtors do have to be concerned
Yes,
about too. Is
especially female realtors. And I'm petite, and some people may think they can take me. Again, my goal is always to get home to my family.
okay,
So
right,
it won't be an easy fight.
right, right.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you just have to be cautious anywhere. But you
Hmm.
think about it, and you just have to use your instincts.
Right.
I don't do rentals that often,
Hmm.
but I had a client who wanted to do a rental,
Hmm.
and they were out of state, and I was showing a house, and I saw a truck in the driveway. I announced myself as I was going in, and I had
Hmm.
her on my on Duo, not similar
Hmm.
to FaceTime, but Duo is with Android or wherever. Um, and something just told me, you know what, this may not look like a good idea. And I never found out if anybody was in the house because there were some back rooms. And I told her, I said, honey, you're gonna have to go on what we just saw. I'm about to get out of here because I don't know who this person, this truck belonged to. I
Right.
gave it out, and I said, mm-mm. Now what
Yeah.
we not
Good.
gonna do? She is not about to be on the news missing.
Right.
I left. And
Right.
you just have to, because you don't know, especially vacant homes, you don't know who's been in there before. You don't know if somebody left a window up for somebody else, to come back to later. You just always have to think about what if. And especially if I have one of my kids with me, um, you just have to think about that. And like I say, if it's somewhere and my husband can roll with me, he's
Hmm.
rolling, period. Or even if if he sees me starting to get my bag together, and he sees it's about to get dark, he's already automatically putting on his shoes. Not quite sure where we're going, but he's about to roll.
There. That's smart. That is smart, and it's necessary. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate
it
that we
is.
live in a world where that is necessary, but things have changed,
Yes.
and people
Can't trust anybody.
know humans are going to be human. So you
Exactly.
have to be
You have to be.
prepared in
And it's
that as
and it's
well.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very scary.
exactly. How do you, and this is probably one of my next last questions, but in terms of support, when you rolled your business out, how is your support system? Did you get a lot of support and just have people coming out of the woodwork, your contacts and network? I mean, where did you see the most of your support coming from, and were you surprised?
I mean, the reality is, I'm a realtor in Metro Atlanta, and there is a realtor. Everybody knows a realtor somewhere. So I had to really get tough skin when when I would reach out to people and let them know I'm a realtor. And then next thing I see that they're selling their home or buying a home with someone else. Just because they know me doesn't necessarily going to mean they're going to use me. Their aunt may be a realtor, or their best friend, or whoever, their husband's best friend. So, you have to understand that, you may not come high up on their totem pole as far as realtors go. Because when I really think about it, before I became a realtor, I knew a good amount, like at least a handful of realtors. And then, it's just a matter of choosing which one to go with. So I had to learn not to take it personally, even though sometimes you can't help it. And then sometimes, working with total strangers, things, you get to take the emotional part out of it. And then you can truly look at that person as a client, not saying that, anybody I'm related to or, have a relationship with, I would look at it differently, but, I'm very protective of my clients, period, so them being blood or close to me, always, you have to kind of balance the fine line. You don't want to be like, girl, you can't afford this money for this house, but but as a realtor, I have to go with what you say and what your lender says. So, it's just, so, and I try to be really real with my clients anyway. So, I tell them, I said, don't get caught up trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Right.
Jones
right. House poor.
Exactly. You over here in this nice house eating bread.
Right.
So, and I always tell them, and it's you just, like I said, you just have to have tough skin and be real honest, and I'd rather them tell me up front, I'm going with this person because I know I've known them forever, which is understandable.
Right.
So yeah.
Gotcha. Well, so now how can people get in touch with you if they're serious now? Y'all ready to make a move?
You ready
to
make
a move? Don't just go around. You want no partner to go looking in houses.
No,
just that's
one thing I don't do. You have to be pre-approved. I will show you one house. I take you out for a showing if you have not been pre-approved. But what we're not going to do is we're not about to be in and out these people's houses without a pre-approval letter. One is COVID, and two, I don't want to waste your time, and I definitely don't want you to waste my time.
There you go.
So yeah, we have to be pre-approved.
Okay.
Because no.
Right.
We not
so y'all heard that pre-approved letter.
Pre-approved letter, and I have lenders that I work with that can help you with that. Now I will say I do go out to look at new construction homes from time to time, especially as I have, clients come up and they're not quite ready to go out, but I just want to know what's out there. If you want to tag along with me for one of those, just because you like looking at houses, fine. But any other time, we need to be. So people can reach me at on Instagram, Jae Johnson Sells Houses, Jae Johnson Sells Houses. And on Facebook, it is facebook.com, Jae Johnson Group. And reach me at either one of those. If you're not on social media, you can email me. I think everybody has an email, maybe with the exception of my mother. And that is JAE at jaejohnsongroup.com.
Okay.
So those are the ways to, reach me. And I mean, it's just a great time to purchase if you're in the market or thinking about it. And, you know, people are refinancing right now. And if, you know, you've been in your house for a couple of years, you could actually possibly, because the interest rates are so low, you could possibly sell your house you're currently in, get that money, put it down on a bigger house, and possibly be paying the same amount monthly that you're currently paying, just because of the interest rates. So that's, you know, that's definitely worth, you know, looking into. And, you know, this, yeah, like I said, that's definitely worth looking into. I know, like I said, a lot of people are refinancing right now and thinking about, you know, just how they can take advantage of these interest rates right now. So
exactly. Yep. Wonderful. Well, then you all have heard it here. First of all, a rarity in itself to have someone who is really made a longevity and a long career in the STEM industry, STEM. But not only that, but to maneuver that into a mompreneur business where it's really a family business and a multiple stream of income is so important and valuable. So you guys have to get after Jae Johnson. You heard how to reach her. We'll have that information in the show notes so that if you're serious, and now is the time to really be looking, because the interest rates are really in your favor at this point. So now's the time to make a move. I mean, you just heard Jae tell us that she not only is in the business, but has closed on 5 homes in a pandemic. So it's yours for the taking. Reach out to her. Y'all get after her. Show her some love. Support her business. This is a Black-owned business, by a mompreneur, but also my dear, not just a longtime friend, but my god sister. I'm so very proud of you and honored to have you on the show. And just watching you grow your business has just been a blessing. I just can't wait to see where it goes, or when your children take it over and they run, and see how to run a business too. So thank you so much for riding with us and joining us in the living room, my sis and my soror. Let's go and put that out there. We just got a whole bunch of family ties going on. My god sister, but also my soror, Delta Sigma Theta. So y'all, come on, Delta Soros, come on. This is someone who you want to support, absolutely support. And if you're not looking for a home, or you're not interested in a home, then you may know someone who is. So shoot a recommendation over, and let's support and get out there. And as always, thank you for joining us in the living room. Thank you for riding with us. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening, go over and watch on YouTube and check us out. Be sure to get in the show notes and reach out to Jae. I'm sure she'll be happy to give you some advice and a free consultation. So make sure you do that as well. And as always, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Make 2021 your year of new. This is your time. If you're here, you're able to hear and you're able to see, and you're still on the right side of the dirt, do something with that time that you've been given, because it is a gift. Get after it, and I will see you when I see you.